The following is a presentation by the Carolina Panthers football team.
The Carolina Panthers select.
This is the Panthers Draft Show, presented by Bud Light.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona.
That's right, Tetairoa McMillan, the newest Carolina Panther. Welcome to the Panthers Draft Show, presented by Bud Light. We are going to be talking, of course, all things T-Mac. We've got a round one recap, and we are going to be talking about what the Panthers should be doing in these later rounds. Coming up starting today, I'm Kristen Balboni, Jonathan Stewart, Trey Boston. Hey, guys. Hey. Yes. I know that we have a lot to talk about. So, Stu, I want to start with you. Tetairoa McMillan, he likes to go by T-Mac.
T-Mac.
We learned last night, not Tet. I want to know, as an offensive guy, what you think about this pick at 8th overall.
I think it's a fabulous pick. And, you know, whenever you are at pick number 8 in the NFL draft, it's a big pick. Top 10, you want to make sure you get a guy that's going to change the game. And I think T-Mac is one of those guys. He's 6'5" target. I mean, anything that you're doing right now when it comes to the offense, giving Bryce Young an opportunity to excel and just to continue to ride this momentum wave that they had from last year, you know, coming off of a hot end to the season. This is the perfect draft pick. He's going to go into this receiver room with the Godfather, is what we call him, Adam Thielen. And he's going to learn so much because it seems like he's a guy that's raw talent, got the dog mentality. But everything I love about him is his hands, his size, being able to box guys out, great body control. And when you talk about getting into the red zone, you know where we're going with the ball.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, Trey, defensive guy, I think a lot of people might have thought that's who the Panthers would be targeting, you know, maybe an edge guy at 8th overall. So what did you make of this pick?
Yeah, I was like the rest of the people. You know, I thought we would go a defender. There's a few guys on the board who we've seen that were there. But when you want to make a splash on the offense and you want to take care of Bryce Young, this is what you go do. You go get him a receiver who he can grow with. We have not only the Twin Towers, but we got about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
We got guys who are big receivers, and that's what the NFC South is used to. We're used to seeing Julio Jones, Mike Evans, those big type of receivers, and finally we have our own. Now it's about where do we position them, but I like him a part of this crew.
Well, let's talk about that, Stu. Where should we position him? How is he going to come out and make an impact, or is he going to sit behind these guys? Like you said, the Godfather, Adam Thielen, he was so good with these young guys last season. Your Jalen Cokers, your Xavier Leggett's, in terms of really coaching them up. So what would you do if you were drawing up some schemes here?
I definitely make sure you get him in motion out the gate, right? Give him some help, you know, out the gate. You know, obviously he's a guy that's confident. He feels like he can run every route, and that's the reason why you get a guy like that. Because if he believes that he can, he's going to work at it, and he's going to make sure he can do it and accomplish it. But when it comes to the scheme, you get him moving. Having a big target like that, Trey, 6'5" guy moving, oh, man, now I can't jam him at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
He's going to be able to stack cornerbacks easily because of his size. He's going to be able to win on the slants. Out the gate, in my mind, he's an Alpha X. And I say Alpha X.
Okay, I like it.
We like to hear that. I mean, of course, unless you're a defender, Trey.
I mean, again, I like it. Why? Because you got a J.C. Horn who's going to be across from him, who's going to get him right.
Oh, yeah.
Again, when you have these big wide receivers, you need a big corner who they can fight with every single day. Who better in this league to, if you want to learn how to get off the press, if that's his, thing for, he needs improvement, well, hey, here goes J.C. Horn. Let's get better every single day. Will you take that upon you? We know he will. That's why you go get him at 8. Dog mentality, you're going to show up for practice knowing what you're going to get. I like it because at the X, you give a guy 1, throw the ball up, go get it. XL, come on, Xavier Legette. I like him maybe in the slot. We already known to give him little jet sweeps. Can he take the top off? Now, for me, you make him that extender, making sure that not only you take the top off, but sideways, linear. The rest of this stuff, we know Adam Thielen will take care of. All the overs, we know what he's known for. 7 routes, known for. So how does it mesh together? Like you say, put them in motion, get them mixed up, sometimes don't even label them. Let them go out there, make defenses scheme for who's at what position. Go run your routes, boys.
I like that.
We're all big boys,
like that.
man.
I want to bring something to you guys' attention, okay? Because, as you said, Xavier Leggett was drafted. They traded back up last year into the first round, that 32nd overall pick. And I want to just point this out. Okay, Bengals. They drafted T. Higgins 33rd in 2020. And then in 2021, guess who they go get? Jamar Chase, 5th overall in 2021. We saw what that did for Joe Burrow. And now, as you said, Stu, the Panthers are investing in Bryce Young. We saw them go out and get this offensive line last year in free agency and re-sign those guys that needed to be re-signed this year. And now you were just putting these weapons around him. So it is the time. They're going to let Bryce cook, right?
Yeah, they're going to let him cook.
And Chuba, of course.
Yeah,
re-signing
obviously.
Chuba. I didn't mean to leave that out.
Well, look, you have now a kitchen with ingredients that you can cook. We need seasoning in this kitchen. I don't want no bland food. And so what we have right now, you're committing to Bryce Young. And if you're a football fan, if you're a Panther fan, you are excited about that. Because knowing what you know off of that last game of the season, seeing Bryce Young come alive, and seeing what we are able to do with this offensive line, Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, these new additions from last year. You have now the highest paid offensive line in the league. So now you have a running game with Rico Dowdle, okay, with Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Your commitment there is basically saying, Bryce, we got you. Jalen Coker, let's not forget about him. Okay, big chunk play guy.
Undrafted.
Yes,
Great
undrafted,
route
so
runner,
hungry.
yes.
So you're gonna have a room that's basically like just primed, ready to go, just to go compete. And I'm excited about that. And man, Dan, Dave, they've been cooking. And I think we're finally hitting some strides that we necessarily haven't really seen before since I've been here.
Yeah. I like that these guys have no egos. When you look at how they lined these guys up, they said they wanted dogs. Man, they have dogs that don't care about themselves. And those are the best teammates. You're going to find this team, again, relaying and buying into the culture that they're building here. They're trying to build it back up the way that we know it to be.
Yes.
So that's what it's looking like, a run game. Now, not only are you going to go run game, play action pass. When you go play action pass, you got big wide receivers and Adam Thielen, still 6'2", who you can throw the ball to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lining up to play Carolina football.
And that is what we want, right? That is what the fans want. Well, let's move over from Carolina to the rest of the draft. Specifically, let's look at the NFC South. And Trey, you came in this morning talking about the Falcons specifically. I want to start there. So they go and get two big guys on D. They get linebacker Jalen Walker. Then they trade back up for edge James Pierce Jr. Let's start there, Trey. What did you think about what they did and what they're going to be bringing to the NFC South?
All right. Now, listen, when I say this, I still don't like those guys. But I like the guys that they picked. When we say we wanted defenders and we wanted guys who can rush the edge, they went and got Jalen Walker. And it's like, okay, we don't get him at 8. We passed up on him. Okay, James Pierce is still available. We might not get him, but Atlanta trades up to go get him. So not only do you take care of a need, you go get two young guys who are two of the maybe 4 best at their position, and you fill a need. If you're going to attack Bryce Young in a great O-line, you go get guys who can rush the passer. I feel like they fulfilled that. That's too much talking good on these guys, man. We're still going to whip them up, man.
And you are done.
I know, I'm done, man.
You
I'm
are
my
done
feet
with
them.
that. Stu, I'm wondering, what did you think about New Orleans maybe not go getting a quarterback?
Well, obviously they need to protect the quarterback of whoever's going to be back there, first of all. So they had a guy that retired this year, offensive tackle, so they had to go get one to replace. They've been swinging and missing, and at the offensive line spot for the last 2 years, 3 years?
2-3 years.
So they need to make it right. You cannot get things moving, as we know, without an offensive line. And if you're going to have any quarterback out there to be successful, you have to keep him upright. And you also got to make sure you have a running game to keep him upright, which, again, not my problem, because we doing well right now.
That's absolutely right. So we're going to get back to the Panthers in just a little bit. As we talked about, and Trey, I know you know this, so we got that first-round pick, Tetairoa McMillan, but there is still a lot of draft left. 8 picks remaining for the Panthers, and I know that you want to see some defense. We all want to see some defensive guys drafted. We are going to hear from Dan Morgan and Dave Canales on what they liked so much about Tetairoa McMillan, and then we are going to get into defense and those prospects available after this.
Tetairoa, we know who you are on the football field, but you are letting everybody know who you are with an homage to your heritage tonight. Why was this important to you?
Oh, man. You know, everything I do is not only to glorify him, the man above, but, you know, to put on for my Polynesian people. So shout out to all my Polys, man. We did it.
You see this Panthers fan base right here. They got to...
Come on, man.
They got a big face of Bryce Young back there. What kind of magic are you guys going to make?
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, the Cali connection is going to be something different, I promise.
Congratulations, Tetairoa.
Thank you so much.
We wanted to add the best player. We wanted to follow our board of who we thought, was going to help us the most up there. So, again, we got our guy, and we're excited about it.
So I put my receiver coach hat on and just watched his pro day and watched his just his route craft, the way that he can reduce his surface in the top of routes as a 6'4" guy, the way he comes back to the ball, some of the things that you look for as a great starting point for a receiver, and so, giving us that good size element, the red zone target, a lot of things to be excited about, so something that was really cool for us to just come together on, and kind of knew, like, unless somebody blew us out of the water with something, we weren't going to let our guy pass, and so it was a great moment for us.
Stu, we just heard that they were in total agreement. They said we went and got our guy, best available on the board. So not only do we know a lot about the pick, but you got to like the confidence that they came in with. They seem very happy. Again,
aligned. Just like last year, last year's draft, this draft room, everybody's on the same page. And when you're hearing these guys talk with that much conviction, if I'm a player that's in this room, this organization, I have a leader and leader of men and an organization starting from the top going down to the bottom that sees a vision.
You trust him.
You know what I'm saying? And I trust it. And so this is, a great opportunity for them to continue to stack, especially going into today.
Well, and we saw what Dan Morgan and this whole front office, Brant, tell us what they did last year and the value that they got in those later rounds. So Trey, I want to know, where do we need to start? Where do you want to see the Panthers start? Let's talk about positions of need.
All right, let's sit up real quick.
All right. This means business.
We went and got a wide receiver, a guy. We went offense instead of going defense. I think we must go defense now. All 8 picks. All 8 picks. Give me them all. I want them all. All 8 picks. Now listen.
Spoken like a true defender.
I think you have to start with the edge. Let's go get some defensive ends who can get off the ball, cause some havoc. We have a great line of veterans when it comes to our interior line. You got Derek Brown, you got Robinson, you got the Shy Tuttle. We just brought in Bobby Jones, yes. So for me, him and Wharton as well, we're getting guys who can take care of the inside. Let's go get some young bucks who can go 3 downs and get after the quarterback. So for me, there's a couple guys in there who I list after, but I think defensive ends are a must in this draft.
How does that play in for the secondary when you have an edge rush that is just dominant and that's ready to go at all times?
Just count to 4. just count to 4. When you got a great D-line, if you count to 4, the ball is out. That makes your job 10 times easier. You know what you're going to get. Also, again, going back to veterans, when we run our stunts, when we have different techniques that it's going to be ran the right way, we're going to set those young guys up to go attack the quarterbacks. We have quarterbacks in this league, in our conference alone, that are guys who we must get after. So if you go get I got a few names for y'all, but we need to go get some young guys, get out the quarterback, because it makes our job so much easier on the back end knowing that 4 seconds.
Well, speaking of the secondary, we've got 2 really good corners locked up. But Trey, you want to see some safeties?
Absolutely. I think there are a few safeties on this board. I think, with what we're looking at, we're looking for a free safety, somebody who can roam the back end, somebody who can go, we call orange line to orange line. Y'all don't quite see those on game time, but that's sideline to sideline. For me, there's a couple guys in that I list that are going to get the football. You know what? I'm going to list one just right now because I'm watching this film and I love the kid. He's a little down on my, with this next pick, don't quite know yet, but down on the list if he gets down until maybe 3rd, 4th round, Xavier Watts, somebody who I like to mention, ball hawk, 17 pick, man, the guy can go get it. That's just one right there.
Okay.
Safeties, there's a few that we need to go get.
Okay. Stu, you in agreement on DNs and safeties?
I am, because you cannot, especially the edge rush, right? The most important positions to me, in my opinion, is quarterback and edge rush.
Yeah.
If you do not, offensive line, quarterback, edge rush. You cannot protect the quarterback, you lose games.
Yeah.
If you can't get after their quarterback, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day.
You lose games.
You lose games. And so, absolutely, finding some edge guys and getting a guy that's a safety. Not only can he cover the field, but can he communicate, right? How as a defense, a lot of times it's not the best players on paper. It's the best communicators, right? And how do you fit the room? How do you fit the guys that are in the room? Are you vocal? Are you understanding the scheme? Because with Evero's defensive scheme, you have to be smart. You have to be able to process things really fast and be able to play in space. And so we'll see what this day is going to behold.
It's so interesting about communication and everyone playing together. As a sideline reporter, you hear these defensive guys on the field, like your Jason Horns, you cannot communicate enough. You hear him saying that so many times. Yeah. And so it's going to be great, like you said, not just looking at what these guys bring on paper, but how they played within their team, what they bring in those interviews. So it'll be really exciting to see who they go for. Like you said, you really want to find that value in the later rounds. All right, guys, what other positions are we looking at?
I'm looking at linebacker. Linebacker, we have a room right now with Josie Jewell, Trevin Wallace. We need some depth because last year we saw when injuries came to play for us, it didn't go in our favor.
We were down to like fifth, like your fifth guys at the end of this season. Yeah,
and so we want to make sure we get the right guy in here that's a communicator, that's smart, that can process things fast, play in space, can cover a tight end, can cover a slot guy if you need to. Cover the running backs, obviously, but have an understanding of what everyone's doing on the field. And I have a guy in mind. And so.
Okay. Well, can we go ahead and hear him?
Carson.
Oh, let's go.
Carson Swinger.
Okay.
Carson Schwessinger. Carson Schwessinger.
Yeah.
I got you, Carson.
Yeah.
But
well, if he comes here, we'll all know how to say it.
We'll know how to say his name.
Right?
But Carson Schwessinger from UCLA, he had an incredible season this year, and he showed on tape. And when you watch film, you're watching the guys that stand out. He's a guy that stands out completely every single game. He's making tackles. He's around the ball. He's processing things fast. Right when the ball snapped, he knows exactly where the ball's going. He knows where he's supposed to be. He's lining up guys. He's talking to the safeties. He's talking to the cornerbacks, getting guys aligned right properly. That's a guy that's got things in motion. Yeah. And that seems like a guy that would fit the Carolina Panthers.
And Trey, real quickly, before we get into any other names, any other positions of need that you are seeing?
Cornerback, you can absolutely stock up. The nickel position is somewhere that we have to get enough depth at cornerback to have to slide somebody in. We know how good J.C. Horn could be in the slot as well. So can you go get another guy, young guy who can play the outside, so you don't give him the task of having to play inside and outside. So for me, there are a couple names that I go. One, real quick, Will Johnson.
Okay.
If he's there, you go get him. I think he's a guy who's shown and proven himself at Michigan that he can do a year in, year out, 2-time All-American, consistent, fluid hips. He's what you look at when you look at a corner 6'2", 195, I believe. That's a healthy corner. You get to a 6'2" corner, you got J.C. Horn, you got Mike Jackson. Now you're talking causing havoc on the back end.
Tall corners.
Come on now.
Absolutely. Anybody else at cornerback that you guys want to see, potentially?
Trey Amos.
Okay. Yeah.
Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. He's another 6'2" cornerback. Transferred from Alabama to Ole Miss, became an All-American.
I'm sensing a theme here.
I'm just
tall,
letting you.
yeah,
because we've seen it.
That's what they want. They want to build that.
How do you stop Mike Evans? How do you stop these big-time, big receivers? What do we have?
Yep.
We got to go get these big guys. Again, I mentioned fluid hips. These aren't just stones. We can lock J.C. Horn on small, fast guys. We got to get guys who, hey, we don't care who you are. You can guard whoever we put in front of you. And I think those are the type of names you mentioned when you talk about lockup corners.
Trey, when you're talking about the secondary, how important is it for us to find a nickel?
Very. I believe what I'm saying is, I would go with somebody, if you feel like you have a good cornerback who could play the outside, I think J.C. Horn gives you an amazing nickel. Now, I don't know whether we want him to play nickel, but when you talk about a big body, 6'2", about 200 pounds, can throw around his weight, is not afraid, has a dog mentality, get inside that hole, A gap, B gap, C, it does not matter. He's ready for all that action.
So that would be your position of preference for him.
No.
Okay, you got excited about it. I didn't know.
Well, because you're still going to come out in a 4-3 base. Now, if you're called for, you guys like nickel,
put him back there.
I think so. I think he gives you the best option of fitting the run and being able to lock down your slot position where you know that's your fast guy, speedy. Well, hey, you got some speedy guys? I got a seat belt for you. Come take a seat, baby boy. So for me, I love him that much to where I love his ability to get inside and guard whoever you want to, causing havoc.
All right, I want to go back now to the DNs because that's where we started, and that is certainly where the Panthers are, we think, gonna target, right?
Yes.
Very soon. So Trey, I know both of you got a couple names. Trey, I want to start with you. Who are you liking?
Mike Green. He's still on the board.
Panthers fans like him too. I've been reading the Twitter comments.
He's coming out of Marshall. He's a smaller DN, but he's still 250. I mean, you can gain some weight. He's gonna get inside the weight room, put an extra 5'10" on. But the way he gets after the quarterback, the pass rushing skills, what he's able to do, man, he's able to collect up these sacks. They're not just gimmies. He's actually working for it. Led the FBS in sacks last year. So for me, if you're going to go get edge rushers, get somebody who's known to get after the quarterback, especially, again, when we having a great interior veteran D-line. Go get you some young bucks.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I got Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College. So this kid right here, he's active.
Yeah.
20-plus tackles for loss last year.
Yes.
And 16 and a half sacks.
Sheesh.
16 and a half. So he's doing something right. He's smaller in size, but one of the things that you got to look at when you're looking at these guys, how long are your arms?
Yeah.
Right?
What's that wingspan?
What's that wingspan like? So when you doing all that punching and all the great handwork that he has, how much do you have leveraged?
Yeah.
Right? And he has great arm length. And so I think that's one of the things that when you grade these guys, and why, scouts look at, how long is your arm? Well, you're 1 inch off. Well, that matters. The game of inches, right? So this guy has been productive. He's been active in the backfield. The tackle for loss thing screams to me, he knows where the ball is and he knows how to slip tackle. He knows how to slip blocks and he knows how to leverage himself to get into those gaps to make plays. And so if I'm a running back and I'm having to face a guy that can potentially just be in the backfield all the time, I'm frustrated. So you want to make sure you get someone that is causing a ruckus. And if you're a scout and you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't want a game plan for that guy.
Yeah.
If you ever start thinking that way, that's when you should probably get him.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the running back in that position, right?
Exactly. I don't want to block him.
Hey, you see, I don't block.
Anybody else that you guys are thinking would be good for the Panthers, this position group? We know Trey. Look.
It's since you asked.
He's got a whiteboard where he's just mapping out things.
If we're going safety, Nick Manwary. I mean, we saw him at the combine pop.
Yeah.
Freak athlete, crazy build, 4'3", 6'3". It's like, but he has the film to back it up, and that's what I love. Can cover guys in space, big safety, so you know he's going to bring the lumber to the barn. I'm letting you know right now, this is a guy who, when you watch film, you say, hey, if he's available, hey, do you see the Panthers grabbing him at 56? Well, if he is, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Got to find a way to get him. Now, if we're going to stay safeties.
You don't like to talk about safety.
Kevin Winston Jr. We're talking about guys who are coming off injury, ACL, but do you take a chance on him being a prospect who is one of the best players in this draft? Jay Stu, you know what it's like to get drafted coming off an injury into that senior season.
Yeah.
What does it look like? How do we trust a guy? What is that process when they trusted you?
Well, I mean, he's right down the street, right? So
Yep.
you can check on him. You can make sure you got all the intel needed. This is where, for me, coming out of my draft, you know, the Carolina Panthers did a lot of their homework behind the scenes with me. They met with me in Eugene at random hotels. Like, hey, man, you good? You still in your boot? And
just check in.
And like it was one of those things where I was like, okay, for like hindsight, you're gonna do your due diligence,
Yeah.
right? And when you draft a guy that is banged up, you're drafting him not because he's like banged up, he's the potential.
Yeah.
And coaches have jobs too. Training staff have jobs too. And their jobs are to get these guys back on the field. And so when you have the opportunity to take a kid that has a mindset that wants to get better and that can get better, and his ceiling is higher than where he is right now, why not go for him? Yeah. And I think that's what they banked on for me.
All right, so there are our priority positions, and you know the Panthers don't have a pick as of right now until in the 50s.
Yeah.
But Trey, say you are Dan Morgan, put yourself in the GM seat. Are you staying there? Are you trying to trade up? Does it depend on what guys are available? Tell me what you're doing.
I think it's best available. It's just like they said at 8. We took the best available, the guy who we knew can make plays for us on Sunday. And I think it's the same thing. There's guys on this list that I believe if they're available, you trade up. Do you need my trade ups right now?
I would like to hear it.
Okay,
Why not?
I mean, listen, I got those two
trade ups.
We're scooting even further up in the seat.
So my trade ups for this, Mike Green is the very first player I trade up for. Now, how many spots I trade up for, I do not know. I think if you can find him around those 40s, 35, he's going to be there. I think 43, he should be gone. But if you can catch him around that mid-40s, trade up, go get him first player. Nick Amanworry, I like him so much that I would trade up. Again, maybe a less few spots. Maybe you catch him at 46, 47, 48. Go get him. Will Johnson. Now, I think you go get him in the mid-low 40s too. Not going to lie. Him and Mike Green, I think, are the two best prospects we can go get. I'm looking y'all in y'all's eyes because when they get off them boards, I hope they with us. If they not, good luck to those young men. I put my stamp on them.
Stu, 8 picks left, so potential room to make some of these maneuvers.
Yeah, I would go Donovan Ezeraku.
Okay.
Donovan Ezeraku, no offense to Mike Green.
Yeah.
Mike Green's a great edge rush guy. But if you're a 3-4 defense, he fits more of this profile because now you're going to be able to have him play multiple positions. You can play the linebacker need, right? But then he's going to come off the edge. And so he's going to have a more serviceable role, in my opinion, how active he was. And you look at the game film, coming off the edge, sitting at the line of scrimmage, he looked like a linebacker that was just capable of playing the edge.
Yeah.
And so you get a guy like that in this room, I think he's worthy of trading up for.
Very, very interesting. Cannot wait to see what the Panthers do in these later rounds. It's going to be exciting. And as we said, 8 picks remaining for the Panthers. Stu, Trey, this was a blast. I mean, I'm excited just thinking about the draft. Trey's got me sitting up right here. We're all sitting up.
Give the people what they want.
We are all ready for these later
We
rounds.
should have been doing this the whole time.
This is nice up here, right? This is nice up here. Guys, thank you so much.
No, appreciate it.
All right, and Panthers fans, we want you to stay tuned next week because we have the Panthers Huddle Special Edition. We're going to be talking all things draft. So we'll see you then.
Thank you for watching the Panthers Draft Show, presented by Bud Light.